And we're back.
Welcome back, Jerry.
What is this, week 13?
I think so.
Yeah, this is week 13. Last week was 12. That means there's only 2 weeks left. Can you believe that?
No, it feels like it just started.
Well, this one's going to kind of be a quick podcast. We're kind of pressed for time to hang out with our significant others and bet on the Bills. So hang on one second. Penny, stop. My dog's going nuts. But anyway, sharing my screen. Let's kind of break down real quick some of the crazy matchups from last week and a quick look at the standings. I mean, I don't want to, toot my own horn, but this was obviously a huge matchup. I mean, scoring 127, second most points of the week, and then West's team absolutely goes off. Josh Jacobs goes for 45. Miles Sanders puts on like another 30, even when the game was out of hand. He just added insult to injury, and I think that would be the highest total this season, correct? 172?
That's right.
Wow. What a great week for Wes. I said his team was going to be bottom of the shitter, and he's 11-1. He's had one blemish the entire year, and he's second most points for. What a season for Wes, and it continues with a blowout of beating everybody in the league last week. Hey Nels, we're just kind of going over last week's matchups. This was a huge one too with Bryson versus Shmi. That's the only way that Bryson was going to stay in this race is if he got a win, and he barely did by 4 points. Actually helped me jump into third place, but you can see that with Bryson winning, it is a cluster in the middle there. 3, 7, and 5 teams, 2, 6, and 6 teams, and then 2, 4, and 8 teams that technically aren't out of it. I'm kind of counting out Mays because there's no way he'll catch up in points. It'd be really hard for Scales as well in points, but Taylor does have an outside shot if Jack and Bryson keep losing and Taylor can get a few wins. So what is that? 3 through 5. That's 6 teams competing for one, two, three, four spots.
Seven teams competing for 4 spots.
Yeah, it's always fun when it comes down to the end of the season. So, Nels, did you want to say anything about your win over CB there?
I don't really check on Sundays much anymore. So, just pretty surprised to log in on Monday and see that we had a really good week there. So, yeah, that's really all I got to say. This has been a tough season for me, but there's always next year.
No, I love that you keep competing and you're playing spoiler because that helped my team. But that was last week, so let's get into this week, shall we?
We shall.
All right, we got to start with first place as always. Taylor looking to stay alive. He's got to win. He's got Ramondre going right now, who's having a decent first half. No touchdown, but is getting a lot of touches. And Jets. He's got the Jefferson is up there for his wide receivers. Hang on one second. My dog is stop. It's so crazy. He's third in points, scored all season, and he's 4-8 fighting for his life, and he's got to go against the number one player to try and survive. But, I mean, Jamal Williams, who would have thought he'd be leading the NFL in touchdowns is crazy. And then Kenneth Walker was a great pickup. But I just don't know if he's going to have enough steam against Wes. His team is going off. Geno Smith, he's having a great season. He's got 3 great running backs. Ayuk, who's been on fire. I'm just going to pick Wes again. just when you think Wes isn't going to do anything, someone on his team goes off. Like one week it was Kelsey, the next week it's Josh Jacobs. Just someone always picks him up, and I feel like he's going to do it again.
Is Jacobs playing this week?
I think he's supposed to. I think they updated it and he's practicing. He's limited. So Friday will be a big designation. But yeah, if you lose Jacobs, that'll be hard to win. But yeah, he's got Foreman on a bye. But still, I would probably pick West just because of the season he's had. Some, probably San Francisco's D will get him 20 points or something. It'll be something crazy, but he's had a hell of a season.
Not so fast, my friend. He's got Taylor's got Jamar Chase coming back this week, likely, and in a big matchup that Cincinnati is going to have to play against Kansas City. Not to mention that Cousins and Jefferson have good matchup against the Jets.
The Jets defense has been great this year.
Has it really?
Yeah, they've been shutting people down.
Interesting. Well, Jefferson is, I feel like, matchup proof, and so it'll come down to and then Kenneth Walker is playing the Rams without Aaron Donald. Whereas on the other side, Sanders has a tough matchup against Tennessee, and Jacobs has a great matchup against the Chargers. But I'm otherwise, Geno Smith against the Rams, I feel like they might jump out to a lead pretty quick and, lean on the run game. So I'm actually going to go Taylor here in what I think is going to be an upset and keep Taylor's playoff hopes alive.
You would love that. Nels, the resident Seahawks fan, who do you see winning this matchup, and does Geno make the difference?
I'm really not sure. I don't think so. I think Seattle's going to drop this one. They've been playing worse as of late. I think that Geno magic is all but worn off at this point. And they're always playing pretty well. You got Jalen Ramsey going up against DK, so that'll be a good matchup to see. But yeah, I think Seattle's going to fall a little short, which is, I think, going to hurt Taylor with Kenneth Walker more than it's going to hurt Geno for West. But I really like Travis Kelce right here. I've been watching Travis Kelce's podcast, and he's been talking about this game for a couple weeks now, the rematch with Cincinnati. So I think it's going to be another one of those 140 yards, 3 touchdown games for Travis Kelce, and that'll boost West for the win here.
Very nice. I forgot about the revenge factor. You always got to look at that. But yeah, thanks for Seattle dropping it in overtime. I had them on a parlay and they ruined it for me. So thanks, Nels.
Well, you can blame Wes's Josh Jacobs for that.
Yeah, that double hurt. All right, next matchup is between two hosts of the podcast. We got CT versus Jerry. CT is the favorite. He's already got 6 from Tyler Bass. So Mixon is supposed to play, especially if he gets in another limited on Friday, but they could split time between how well Perine's been doing and Mixon has been hurt. So that could hurt me because I got to play one or the other. I'm obviously going to probably go Mixon unless he's ruled out. So I'm really not expecting too much from Mixon. The only thing that's kind of saving me, and I know CT sees this, is I've got a huge matchup with Cleveland. I got 3 Cleveland players going against Houston, who's been atrocious, and I think they're just tanking to get to get the first pick. So if those guys can go off, I can maybe have a chance. But like Nels just brought up on the last matchup, Mahomes versus Cincinnati, I think he's going to try and throw for 5 touchdowns. The infamous trade I've made, St. Brown, just knowing my luck, St. Brown's probably going to go for 20. Mahomes hitting Smith-Schuster and the double up. Then you got Henry doesn't have a very good matchup, but he's still kind of matchup proof. ETN, if he can play, has an amazing matchup against Detroit, which I think he is going to play. He's got in another limited. And then McCaffrey, who's kind of been underutilized, I think, since going to San Francisco, but he's still. I think I'm going to pick CT in this one. I do have a good matchup that gives me a little hope. If the Browns were playing like Pittsburgh, I would say this is CT in a landslide, but I'm really hoping Chubb and Cooper can keep it close. But I'm gonna pick CT and a little closer matchup, like like 110 to 115 or something.
Else?
Yeah, I think it's going to come down to the end. I think if Joe Mixon plays, he's in line for a bigger game than 12 points that it says right there. They'll try to keep up and have to do a lot with Mixon against Kansas City. And then, yeah, as long as ETN and McCaffrey play, that's going to help CT. Assuming Joe Mixon's going to play, I'll take CT by about 5 points. His team is just really, really good.
Yeah, I feel like you made the right move with Saquon, who hasn't been doing much since you traded him. I mean, he did play against Dallas, but still hasn't done much since you traded him. And I'm kind of lucky that you got Hopkins on a bye. Otherwise, you'd be, even more stacked. But I guess it could come down to Monday in that Tampa Bay defense, which New Orleans has not been looking good lately. And they get them at home, and Tampa Bay hates that team because Monday against that is looking pretty sweet.
Yeah, I mean, I will say, Jerry, you've got some great matchups this week. Jalen's got a great matchup against Tennessee, Pickens against Atlanta, Chubb has the best matchup against Houston. So while I've got some tough matchups, so it'll be interesting to see what happens. I won't be surprised if you do end up winning. Obviously, I hope I win, but I'm going to pick you to win in what I think is going to be a hot week for you. I think I'll still score 110 or so, but I think you're going to have a hot week and edge me out.
I hope so, just because the way it's fallen, I'm really kind of more focused on some of these other matchups we're going to get into, because if they keep losing, I can't really. You're still going for a top buy, or you're going to get a buy, but you're going for a top one. Lose, and you're on the team. So I'm really just kind of playing for a playoff spot. So I'm really kind of hoping these other matchups fall my way. This one can kind of go either way as long as I put up some points. But we'll get into that. We did 2-3, so we'll go Shmi versus Jack now. He's got Allen going, so that's a big player going on Thursday. Nels, what do you see on this one? These two battling for playoff spot.
Yeah, I think Shmi's going to be hurt by Najee Harris if he doesn't play. A big piece there, and then Njoku I think is hurt too. I can't remember if they said he was going to play.
Yeah, Harris didn't practice today.
Yeah, I saw that. Steelers running backs were getting picked up off the waiver wire to try to. You can scroll up and see the rest of the team. It looks like Josh Allen. A good week so far. His average numbers look to be pretty good. I've got Shmi in this one. I didn't really see anything one way or the other. I just like Shmi's team more than I like Jack's team.
Gotcha. Yeah, Jack already last time he complained about Knox, and he said it in the group, and then Knox got a couple catches, but it looks like again he's not getting anything. I mean, I love Jack's team at the beginning, and it's just crazy that he's barely going to maybe slide into the playoffs if he wins this. But Allen versus Las Vegas is a good matchup, and he could double up with Herbert, but Josh Allen could go off in the second half here. I think Nels pointed out well that if Harris doesn't play, he's going to be behind the 8 ball. He does have Warren, but I think someone else is splitting carries in Pittsburgh, right? It's not just Warren. I can't remember.
Yeah, Benny Snell.
Yeah. Snell took over late. So, and I guess if Fields plays, Jack will have a decision between Herbert and Fields, which I would probably lean Herbert, although Green Bay's rushing defense is atrocious. You saw what, Jalen and Miles Sanders did to them. So we'll have a tough decision, but I think I'm gonna go. It's kind of cheating just because Allen only has 14 so far. I think I'm gonna go Jack just with Pollard and AJ Brown against that Tennessee secondary, and I think he's got great matchups either way with Herbert and Fields. I'm gonna take Jack to barely win. I think Shmi's team is just kind of limping to the finish line, and if he can get healthy, I guess he's got Eckler and Herbert to cancel out, so that may sway Jack to go Fields. But anyway, what do you see, CT?
Yeah, I think. I mean, you bring up some good points for Shmi, but I do think Allen is in a position where he may not have a big game. We do have a little bit of benefit of hindsight here.
Mm-hmm.
Harris might not play, and I don't like the options that he has to replace him. Um, and I think Pacheco, I don't think he's going to get 10 points against Cincinnati. Um, Over on Jack's side, I do like the Herbert and Brown and Allen matchups. I also like the Montgomery matchup against Green Bay.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I'm going to take Jack in a close one here.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Jack as well. But good luck, gentlemen. I know this one's close. That the 4-6 seed are playing each other 2 weeks remaining. Makes for great drama, and we know drama.
Drama.
Two teams also fighting for a spot. Shmi, or not Shmi, Scales is definitely on the outside looking in. He's gonna need a lot of help and some points. And right now, Gabe Davis has one catch for a touchdown, so that's a good start. Still only worth 6 points, but what do you think, CT? You got to break down Burrow versus your team. So who are you seeing in this matchup?
Yeah, so I think Burrow's going to crush it against Kansas City. I think you're looking at probably the highest over under of the week. And then otherwise, and I think T. Higgins is going to be a big benefactor of that. I don't like the Arizona, or not Arizona, but Green Bay matchup against Chicago, although Chicago's defense has been terrible, but I don't know. Is Jones fully healthy, or is he going to play even?
I haven't. He's limited. It says he's likely to be removed from the injury report on Friday. So it looks like he's playing, but
yeah, if they stick with him and give him a big workload, then I can see him having a big game. Mike Evans has a good matchup against New Orleans. Over on Scale's side, Garoppolo's that's a potential shootout against Miami, so he could, I could see him with a couple touchdowns to Ayuk and Kittle. Debo could get really involved, especially with Eli Mitchell going down.
yeah, he didn't practice today though. It's not a good sign. So
man, okay.
He might be down Debo.
Well, he's down a tight end, and Saquon has he has
or Palmer, who's been on fire against LV. That'd be probably a pretty good play. So he's got some options, but
yeah, he's got some options. I just, again, he doesn't have a tight end, and I don't like Saquon's matchup against Washington. I also don't like Kamara's matchup against Tampa Bay. So I just there's enough on Scale side that I don't like that I'm going to pick CB to win, especially on the backs of Burrow and Higgins again in a shootout with Kansas City.
Yeah, Higgins is like I remember before the season not thinking much of him, and Chase being out has definitely helped, but I think he's had a pretty well, I say that recently. His last 2 games, he's been amazing with Chase out. So with Chase coming back, that could hurt him. But I definitely think Boyd is the receiver that's out, and it's basically Higgins and Chase with a high-powered offense. So just with the names, I like CB in this one. I think Scales and it's just going to come up short. Both of them don't have great matchups, so I kind of has a lower score, 92, 80, 88 kind of game that goes CB's way.
Yeah, I like CB as well. Olave and Mike Evans in that game. I think, as you said, those teams don't like each other, so I think they'll put up some yards, they'll put up some points. I'm wondering if Scales really even cares since he doesn't have that tight end spot. But then I remember last year when Shmi dropped, I believe it was Cole Beasley for a tight end, we got into this whole, well, you can't drop good players just to pick up a tight end and all that kind of nonsense. So maybe that's just part of his strategy these days going forward. But yeah, I don't like Scales' team in this one. I'll project him to lose. And yeah, I think both under 100. I don't know if Scales cracks 90 even with a tight end, because it is pretty slim out there for those.
Yeah, the tight end has usually had some pretty good depth, and this year it just does not. It's been a pretty ugly position with what Kelsey and with Kelsey at the top tier, and then like Andrews was there before he got injured, and then it was
before he got
the
traded.
rest. Before he got traded, and the rest was just kind of, one big glob.
Yeah, well, gosh, it's weak.
All right, this one I really need to go my way. I already saw the Diggs touchdown, and I was like, dang it, Bryson has him. Bryson's making a comeback despite, not having the greatest running backs all season, but he made a great pickup in White, who I think Fournette is looking. I think Fournette's not going to play, but even if he does, White has been getting more touches. Elliott's been getting a bunch of red zone touches. So even though Pollard's been getting a lot of the dynamic plays and a lot of plays, between the 20s, Elliott is still involved. He's got one of the best young wide receivers in Waddle, and he's got the double up, but that is a tough matchup. And then, like you said, Jalen Ramsey probably going to cover Metcalf. That's a tough matchup. So just looking at Bryson's, not the greatest matchups, but Lamar just really hasn't cooked since the first couple of weeks. It looks like he was going to go for 50 every week, and then he's just been kind of mundane since week 3. So he had a pretty good week last week, but if RO had Cup, I mean, I would definitely pick RO in this, but he doesn't, and I think with Bryson's tough matchups, I think I'm going to go RO in this one. Not doing great from Hunter Henry so far, but if he can limit Diggs to like 13 points, I think he's got a pretty good shot. And I think Derek Carr is going to be in a shootout with LAC. So I think Adams is the receiver to have there. I don't know what Mostert's playing. He was limited, so he should at least have 2 running backs. So even though RO is kind of out of it, he can play the spoiler role, and I'm going to pick him to win this week. CT?
Yeah, I am. I'm not a big fan of the Denver matchup for Lamar. And as you mentioned earlier, the Jets defense has been pretty good, so I'm not a fan of that Dalvin Cook matchup against the Jets. I think Tua's in for a shootout with San Francisco, which will benefit Bryson with the Waddle double up. Is Fournette out against New Orleans?
I'm not sure. I don't have any Fournette stock, so I haven't really been keeping track, but I thought I read something on him that I know he's definitely getting more with Fournette likely back, it says. But that was Sunday, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think it looks like Fournette is back because he practiced in full today. So but he has AJ Dillon against Chicago, and I know that Aaron Jones has been limited participant, so he could potentially have a big game against Chicago. I just think Tua and Waddle are going to be too much for RO to overcome. Even if Devontae Adams has a big game, I feel like Lamar and Dalvin are going to underperform, so I'm going to go with Bryson in this one.
I actually like RO in this one. I think Lamar will actually have a good game. Denver's secondary is stout, so I think that's going to keep Lamar Jackson with the ball in his hand. I think a lot of rushing yards are going to turn into a bunch of points for RO. I like Devontae Adams again against the Chargers. Lockett is the guy to have in Seattle, I think, on this one, due to Metcalf probably going up against Jalen Ramsey. So I think a big play there. I think, and I like Dalvin Cook to kind of round it out. I think Minnesota's quite a bit better than the Jets, and so they'll be control that game. So I like Dalvin Cook having a pretty 14 points out. So yeah, I like RO over Bryson here. Bryson just tough matchups, and yeah, Fournette coming back. I don't really trust Ezekiel Elliott anymore. Dallas should run away with that game as well. So I don't know how much he'll play.
Yeah, good points. I think at San Francisco is a really tough matchup, even though Mike McDaniels will probably have all the inside information because he just came from there. I still feel like San Francisco's defense has been playing really well, suffocating teams. So I think that's a really tough matchup to go from Miami to San Fran and try and play on the road. I just don't think that's the greatest matchup for Bryson's two probably biggest point getters besides Diggs. So we'll see what happens in the second half here. But a big game from Diggs would certainly help. And last but not least, Nels versus Mays.
Yeah.
If this would load. All right, take it away, Nels. You got your team versus the Woe.
Yeah, so I'm projected to win by quite a bit, but I don't know if I believe all my projections. Andrews hasn't cleared 10 points in a long time. Damian Pierce has put up 2 legit goose eggs back-to-back weeks, so that's probably another 0 points from him. Brian Robinson's really hit or miss.
He had a great week last week, didn't he?
He did. He had a good week last week.
22,
5 and 14, then 4, then 2. So it's really, my guys were just all hit or miss. I got bottom of the barrel, low quality players on my team. So, if they all have good weeks, then I think I can win this pretty easily, but there's definitely a chance none of these guys score in double digits. For him, his team isn't much better, especially the way DeAndre Swift has just lost control of that backfield. He doesn't play as much as probably where he was drafted. You like Jonathan Taylor, but I think they'll get down early and have to throw. Mine looks better on paper, I think, but I think there's an easy chance these guys throw up, single digits and I lose, but I'll take me by about 8 points.
Nice. Yeah, I think it'll be a little closer, like you said, now that you pointed that out, that Pierce against that Cleveland front isn't the greatest matchup, and then Andrews, who knows what's been going on with him, but I think he's just trying to get healthy. But Goff plays pretty well at home, and then Sutton against the Baltimore defense has been collapsing late in games, so Russ could try and get to Sutton. So Mays doesn't have that many playmakers, but some of them have pretty good matchups. Kittle and Jonathan Taylor doesn't have a good matchup, but. Yeah, I feel like I'm going to take Nelson this one, but I think it's going to be closer. Yeah, I'd say like 5 points, like 85-80 or something like that. Probably Kansas City defense may end up really hurting him because I think Cincinnati's really going to try and ball on them. So, CT, wrap it up.
Yeah, this is a tough matchup that doesn't matter. So I'm going to punt this one, and I'm going to pick Nels because I think Derek Carr is going to have a big game against the Chargers. And so I think that's going to be the deciding factor. And I hope you win, Nels.
Thanks, man.
Do you have anyone? Who do you have next week, Nels? Do you have anyone that you play spoiler?
Just taking it week by week down here. I got you
got Bryce.
Oh man, go look. Hey, Jerry,
right.
go look real quick at next week's matchups.
For who?
Just for everyone. For everyone, yeah.
I just Bryce next week. That's he's gonna be so pissed if you spoil his playoffs. That'd be hilarious. And you play Taylor.
Shmee versus you.
Okay. Yeah, he's already projected for 108. I think Josh Allen has a really easy matchup against the Jets. I think they've been playing pretty good, but.
Oh man! All right, next week. Will be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
I am if I'm in a position to make the playoffs. If it's going to be, I can't remember what we're doing next Sunday. I think we're going to try and go to the Arboretum next Sunday. So that'll be fun, trying to see if my team's going to make the playoffs while we're looking around at lights.
Hey, I'm going to be in Denver while Kansas City is in Denver next weekend.
You're going to the game.
How convenient.
My brother's got tickets.
So
That's awesome. All right, well, good luck, everybody. Nels, I need you to win next week, and everyone, good luck with their teams. And it's been a fun season. It's kind of winding down, but it should really intensity should pick back up when the playoffs are set. So, thanks for hopping on. Thanks for hopping on Thursday night, and I'll probably try and get this out tomorrow. And good luck to your teams.
All right,
Good luck, everyone.
All righty.
Talk to you later.
See ya.
All right. Good job, guys. Nope. Nels left.
Yeah, he's done. He doesn't like the